Oh, hey guys, Edge here. You might know me as the guy who used to make Dota guides. My last video was a year ago, technically. It's 2017, Dota's a whole new game. I've been doing a lot of soul searching this year, thinking about my place in the universe, thinking about my legacy. I mean, in 20 years, will I show my kids my slightly oddball guides for a game that used to exist? I'm an adult now, I turned 21 a week ago. Yeah, that's right, I can legally buy beer for all of Baumi's fans. Oh! Yeah, it's happening. I read somewhere that the key to a successful and healthy YouTube channel is copious amounts of petty drama or quality content with a consistent upload schedule, but petty drama seems like something I'd actually be good at. On that topic, I think people have the wrong idea about this update in my guides. People are thinking 7.0 must have destroyed me, all of my work has been turned to ash. Oh, you innocent-minded fools! On the contrary, over the course of this next week, I will be releasing 7.0 addendums for every one of my previous guides with new builds, new strats, new fundamental ways of playing heroes. Maybe this month I'll even make $50 in YouTube revenue. I'm going to be here for a while, making guides. I want to start streaming in a week or two as well, and then who knows, maybe I'll disappear for a few months without a trace again. But right now the dust has settled and I'm here, so maybe I can shed some light on this Dota 3 thing. I like the talent trees concept, a game-by-game choice between two different abilities, but in practice there's never really a 50-50 split. There's always nearly a good option and the other one. And as a general rule of thumb, the best talents are cooldown reduction to damage to mana regen to gold to mana to stats to respawn time to XP gain to movement speed, and then armor. But I'm convinced that the armor talents are just placeholders until they can think of actually good talents. A handy way of thinking about it is, how much money would I have to spend to get what this talent offers? A steady 50 damage would be around a demon edge and a bit. Any cooldown reduction would be Octarine's 5,900 gold. Movement speed, especially the extremely low amounts offered, come easily with like a 250 gold windlace. Also something to note is that an early XP gain talent actually adds XP onto tomes as well, and cooldown reduction works on items too. You can TP more, you can use Midas more. Through the use of talents, heroes can now actually transcend their default roles. Lich is all of a sudden an amazing mid. And of course there's Lone Druid, who's now a sniper with a bodyguard, and Ember, who is now a mage. I have a few builds coming up that touch on this. Basically just rethink everything. Don't just take someone's word that this hero is a support, that this hero is a carry. No one in this world truly knows anything. It's just people as a whole don't like knowing that they don't know, so they make do with the evidence presented to them. The sun revolved around the earth. Man was created for a purpose. Tinker is a balanced hero, stuff like that. This game is constantly changing. We build Weaver as a support now because one handsome man said, why not? And he doesn't know anything. He hasn't been given a badge that grants him the ability to dictate metas. Anyone can. Just question everything and go in with an open mind. Fun fact, if you find yourself on the Radiant side, congratulations, odds are you will win. There is absolutely no hero who has a higher win rate on the Dire side. Pudge has a 60% win rate on Radiant versus a 50% win rate if he's on Dire. The difference is a near constant 6 to 10% all across the board. But let's ignore that horrifying fact and just touch on the new aspects of the 7.0 map. Roshan is now centralized, so Dire no longer have the Roshan advantage. If anything, the advantage now goes to Radiant. I wonder why they have a win rate advantage as well. You can blink from the shrine into the pit on the Radiant side, but you can't do it on the Dire side. Also, Roshan has yet again lost his little tree friend. A major part of this relocation is that there is no hotspot to stand, so Roshan only hits you once or twice and then turns around. The most you can hope for is 4 hits and then him turning around, taking one step, and immediately getting aggroed again to wail on you. If you want to gamble with this, stand on the right side of the pit, tuck yourself really deep in there so you're just getting vision of the pit, and go to town. This place has the perk of not being in vision when someone walks into the pit. Anyone roast checking will just see an innocuous burning Roshan, freaking out and punching the wind. It's the perfect cover. Screw smoking in there, just walk in, and when they contest it, giggle in the shadows as they go, oh, I guess he must have TP'd out. Shrines, or sanctuaries, change nearly everything about the early game and still have a massive impact for the rest of the game too. They are far better than the fountain, they can be teleported to, and they are situated in the jungles about 3 steps from the offlane. Now all of a sudden the offlane is arguably the best place to put your carry support duo, and heroes that just didn't have enough to jungle now have more than enough. The thing about shrines is that running from a 5-man gank and getting to one saves you from the gank, and that in turn means that the gank squad fights tooth and nail to keep you from it. The second you touch it and activate it, you are free. You are alive. Here is a clip to demonstrate exactly what I mean. The term quality of life fits into a lot of descriptions of 7.0 changes. The big one would be the backpack. In general, there's now less reason to ever have an item exposed on the ground able to be destroyed, and this opens up a lot of doors. All of a sudden, this mix with the new jungle and shrines means that a bunch of heroes are now jungle powerhouses. But before that, let's touch on something neat, I guess. Okay, so items in the backpack have 2 times the cooldown and are disabled for 6 seconds after you put them back into your inventory. The latter means you can use Blink while under a constant stream of attacks by predicting it, moving it into your backpack, and then immediately back out and mashing the key 6 seconds later. Expect to see Miracle on the front page doing that in a month's time. This whole moving from backpack and back to inventory thing means that for 6 seconds you aren't getting that item's passive effects. Put a heart in your backpack and all of a sudden you're 1150 health less, but still the same percentage. Healing in this time and then adding the heart back in means you've effectively gotten more than 400 HP from your 400 HP self, just like when you tread switch and bottle charges. And lastly, the active effects of items stay on you when the item itself is put into your backpack. BKB stay active, blade mail is active. The next level play would be to have a pocket refresher that you swap in, use, and then immediately swap out again. Now you have 2 BKBs, 2 sheep sticks, 2 black holes, all without actually needing the permanent item slot. Oh, barely any items got reworked, and yet the ones that did are so ingrained in Dota that it sent ripples throughout every single hero's build, really. The big one is, of course, Helm of the Dominator, which actually has some pretty suspicious connotations in the name. But basically, no more lifesteal, no more armor, and no longer a part of Satanic. It's now its own independent item. Oh, and it's also the best item in the goddamn game. Basically, it still does all of that, but better. The creep is now extremely fast. It's a free ward constantly as long as you keep moving it through thoroughfares in the jungle as you move from camp to farm. And it gives amazing stats. Health regen is the stat that every hero has to itemize for. Ranged heroes couldn't go Vanguard, carries couldn't go Tranquil Boots. Every hero can go Helm. It's the new drums, which now absolutely nobody should get. Oh, and also Atos Roots, but I don't really care because it's still not going to get appreciated as the awesome item that it always was. And Mask of Madness is now really good in theory, but sort of nearly unpickable in actual games. It's great on Medusa, it's awesome on LD and his bear, it's far too good on Lycan, and that's about it. Even heroes who used to get it won't now because they need their spells. And don't think you can cheat the system by getting it on Slark or someone who can purge the silence. It's absolutely undispellable. So shit. Illusions give gold, trees aren't destroyed when you TP in, and heroes have massive perks that aren't visible up front. Basically, learn the patch first and you can exploit these things. People will leave their illusions lying around, people won't turn from taking a tower because they can't see you coming, and you can even TP to the shrine next to the tower and come in from the side. All of these things give a tangible advantage to anyone paying attention, and you have the added comfort of knowing that everyone else is an idiot, right? And so for my general impressions, that's pretty much it. I'll be touching on some heroes in the future, but if I've missed something that you want my opinion on, leave it in the comments, I'll reply there, or maybe make an actual video on it if it's a big question.